to volunteer to be assistant secretary for a meeting? Could someone volunteer to help?
Yes, I would think so, sure.
So do I have to go through a process, or do I just start up?
To volunteer to help?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I thought we
Yeah.
were following the laws and the regulations. And stuff.
Yeah. Just email,
I would
email,
If
I
I
guess
might,
that you're interested.
yeah, thank you. I believe basically Curtis, once the meeting starts, you should ask the chair if he would like to appoint a volunteer to help you as assistant secretary. And then someone can volunteer. You might even have a giant competition, and that'll be that. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
And thanks
Sorry.
for reminding me. It's okay. So Eliezer is running late, so I will be the host for this evening. And Angel as well. So Curtis, as soon as we have quorum, let me know. We're gonna get on it.
Okay, I'm looking at tennis now.
We have a phone number. And for folks who are on the attendees, I know people might trickle in. If you're interested in speaking during the public session, please put your name in the Q&A. If you're affiliated with an organization, please do that as well. Thank you.
How far are we from quorum?
Halfway there.
Okay. I'll go feed the cats. I'll be right back.
$15, about.
Happy birthday, Ebenezer.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a memory. Is it today?
Yes, today is the day.
Oh, happy birthday. Let's see.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ebenezer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not there yet.
I see attendees list is growing. Yes, so if you're interested in speaking during tonight's public session as a resident, or if you're with an organization, please put your name and the organization's name, if relevant, in the Q&A. And when the time comes, we will call on you. I've been letting folks know public session usually takes place between 7:30 and 8 p.m.
Okay, we'll do a quick check on. Is Angel here? I saw Angel's name.
Yeah, I just joined.
Okay, perfect. I'm sorry.
You have a lovely sunset behind you, Wayne.
Well, thank you very much.
Just a few more. 1 second, going through this again. Liz Ritter.
Hi, I'm on the bus and I'm heading home. I'll be here and then I'm going to hop off the call and rejoin when I get home to my computer.
Okay. Let me see. 1, 2, minus the stuff. 3, 4. John Francis. Oh my.
I think we have quorum.
All right. Oh, wow, that's weird. If we can move, sorry, folks who are also co-hosts, if you can move Sean Francis from Sean Abreo's office to a panelist, that would be great. All right, so let's get started. The time is 6:38. We're going to call this meeting to order. Welcome to Community Board 12's March General Meeting. If you're joining us for the first time, we're glad you're here. Might be our last Zoom meeting, so I hope you're excited wherever you're connected. And our chair, Eliezer Bueno, will be joining us later this evening. So my name is Catherine. I'm first vice chair. And is our second vice chair, Angel Vasquez, will be supporting as well. If you're here because you would like to speak on behalf of an organization or to an item we have tonight, and you're in the attendees, please put your name in the Q&A. And when we get to the time of the public section between 7:30 and 8 p.m. roughly, we'll call your name and you'll be unmuted. All right, let's get started. So is there, yes.
Prior to starting, I would like to request that if there is a volunteer on the board to serve as assistant secretary for the evening, that they raise their hand and you can make an official appointment.
Thank you for reminding me. Emily, you there? I think it's happened before too that I can just appoint.
I think so Emily, are you there?
To be a secretary. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
My service is very
So,
wacky.
yeah, since you're interested, if I'm correct, Jim, I can nominate Emily this evening to act as assistant secretary.
You can just plain old appoint her with your supreme power as chair.
Okay, so Emily, thank you for stepping up and for acting as assistant secretary. You can connect with Curtis on any support. All right. Awesome. So we will move on to the next item, which is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion for the adoption of the agenda.
Yes.
Sorry, I just want to make a suggestion to change to the agenda for tonight's agenda, please.
Okay.
I noticed the agenda that went out, I think this afternoon, was missing the Housing and Human Services resolution on it. I know that our resolution got sent in a little bit late, so I just wanted to add that to the agenda, please.
Can you, you're right, because I don't have it on mine. What's the reso?
I forgot what we titled it. It's resolution in support of calling for Manhattan Borough President's Office to create an online resource platform.
Okay, I'll add it on the, are you okay if I add it after Parks and Cultural Affairs?
That is
Or
fine. Thank
licensing?
you.
Okay. All
Was
right.
was that resolution circulated? I don't see it.
Yes, it was this afternoon, Wayne.
Yeah, I saw it. It's in, like she said, it came this afternoon.
It's just that the agenda was sent before.
Correct, exactly.
446, 456.
Okay, I'm looking at that now. Let me see if I find it. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you.
If I can ask, in that same email, I didn't see the licensing minutes.
Those went out on Friday. Those are the late submissions that you guys received today. All these emails have been circulating since Friday and they're on a chain email.
Yes, I was about to say that. So the last ones that everyone should have received was actually from Chanel's. And it included, it does include housing, and that was at, just in case, 4:56 p.m.
Okay, I see it.
Okay.
And just FYI,
So we have,
the assistant secretary for the evening, I just emailed you. Could you check your email and we can get our work together moving forward?
Cool, thank you.
okay, so we have one change to the agenda. Hearing and seeing no other hands, is there anyone, is there a motion to adopt the agenda for this evening?
Well, I'd like to motion for us to adopt the agenda with the amendment that Marielle just requested.
Okay, Angel, does anyone second that motion?
I'll second. Liz Ritter, I
Second.
second.
Oh, so Etta, and thank you, Liz. Okay, and lastly, Curtis shared on the call, he sent out the minutes for February. I know we've received them quite late. If folks have had a time to peruse, is there a motion to adopt the February 2022 minutes?
I have a few minor corrections.
Are they content or just kind of little grammar and things like that?
As I said, there are a few minor corrections, which I can email to someone.
Okay. So, okay, so you can email them. If you can email them to Curtis and Emily, since Emily's acting tonight, just in case.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Is there, so there's some minor edits, and is there a motion to adopt the minutes?
I would move to adopt the minutes as corrected.
I'll second that.
So Wayne moved and Angel seconded. Thank you very much. Now we will move on to the chair's report. Obviously, I'm not listed.
I can't, I haven't had a chance to review them since they went out late, so I'm gonna have to abstain on the adoption of the minutes.
We didn't vote.
Okay.
No, but we have to vote.
Yeah, but now we have to vote. So
Well,
let me just
if
ask,
you
are
would
there
like-
any abstentions
Well,
for?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
other people may be in the same position as Sally, that they didn't get the minutes, so maybe we could vote on this later. Give people some time to vote on it.
I would appreciate that.
Okay, I'm cool with that. So I'll move that
Thank you.
towards before the resos, before we vote on the resos. All right. Eliezer is not here. We did host the really the second gathering since we've been on Zoom that's been in person with new members that were appointed in 2020 and 2021. If you were appointed during those 2 years, weren't able to make it, definitely get in touch with the staff at the office. There were some really helpful materials that were shared. And it was really great to connect with folks. Secondly, I think the most that I could say, and I hope I'm not, kind of crossing any lines in sharing, is that we obviously all received and know that the executive order was extended for an additional 30 days. So I would share, for folks to really pay attention to your board email in terms of any updates from our board office, from our actual committee chairs, for what that transition time will look like. And then, of course, if you have any concerns for the committees that you serve on, please reach out and speak with your committee chairs. They're here to support you, work through any of that in case you have any future conflicts and challenges. I don't obviously have a date. I'm just letting y'all know pay attention to email for when updates come for that. I see Jay's hand and then Angel's.
It's actually been a couple of years since we've had a full roster of the board members complete with contact information. And due to the fact that we've been holding virtual meetings, there's a goodly number of board members now who I've never had the pleasure of meeting. So this is a problem in board work when the only board members you're in regular contact with are members of your committee and or old acquaintances who you talk to about various items. So I feel this is a problem in the continuing functioning of the board.
Yeah, the directory, I mean, what I can respond is that because there have been so many new members and there will be new members soon, that does have to get updated. And I do recall that being on the task list. Angel?
Sure. I just wanted to inform the board that I attended the Manhattan Borough meeting on Elias's behalf. So I just wanted to take 30 seconds to give you an update on what occurred. There was a lot of conversation around hybrid model versus full in-person versus remote. Catherine already mentioned that we have the extension for an additional month. The Manhattan Borough president received a lot of feedback from the various community boards in Manhattan, all saying that participation has been up since there has been a virtual option. So they are going to be advocating very strongly for a hybrid model to be available. The borough president's office also understands that this would require additional expenses in terms of tech service and additional staff to help manage the tech. The office themselves went through some challenges that morning with the hybrid. I'm sure we've all been there, the challenges that hybrid models offer, but the borough president wanted to make sure that that our community boards knew that he is committed and the office is committed to helping shoulder the costs that are associated with hybrid models. We received a very lengthy update from the independent budget office on the city's budget. I'm not going to go into the details, but it was a rather lengthy update on that. And then the last piece that I want to make sure everyone saw is, I believe yesterday we all should have received an invitation from the borough president's office about a research study that's being conducted to just learn about the diverse representation and participation on boards, and ways that we can identify strategies for supporting inclusion, equity, and fairness in the board work that we do. It's completely voluntary, but they provided us a presentation at the borough meeting, and so here I am delivering it to you all, letting you know, participate if you'd like in the survey. That's it, Catherine. Thank you.
All right, awesome. I saw Wayne has his hand up for you.
Yes, Angel, at the executive committee meeting, I shared with Eleazar that we'd received notice from the borough president's office that there would no longer be, planning staff dedicated to working with the community boards. And that was, odd and sort of counterintuitive. Was there any discussion at the borough board meeting of why they're doing that?
Thank you for reminding me, Wayne. I had that on my notes and I just forgot to share it out loud. I did ask if this was going to become a normal practice. They informed me that they were, short of planners at the moment, and that's why they had made that decision, but they're actually going to be increasing the number of planners that they have on their staff so that community boards will go back to receiving that support. If you would like more information, I believe you can contact Trisha Shimamura, who is the main liaison between the community boards and the Manhattan Borough office. But they did mention that is going to be brought back.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and Liz.
Thanks. Just piggybacking on Wayne's question and Angel's response. I also had a short conversation with senior staff at the borough president's office, and she confirmed that, yes, they do have planners available for community boards. It's just being structured differently. So I think the way that it was articulated to us was a little bit confusing, but it does appear that the borough president is committed to continuing to fulfill that role.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Angel. I see no other hands. I will move on because it's his birthday, so we're not going to drag it till 10 o'clock for him. For District Manager Ebenezer Smith's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Always is a pleasure being here as your district manager and give my report. Just going a little further more on the information of the governor extended a state of the emergency until April 16. I just want to let you know that the office plan is to have the meetings in person. We're gonna use the second floor as needed. But the issue with the second floor is that the office has to pay. So we had everything settled the other day when we were supposed to go, but we continue working. Now I heard on the news that the new variants of Omicron, the V2, I forgot what is the name, VA2 is increasing in China, and we have it here in the States as well. So let's see and keep our fingers crossed to see what's going to happen in less than a month, in 15 days, more or less, April 16. So let me start with the Department of Health report at the District Service Cabinet meeting. They said they have a new commissioner, is Dr. Ashwin Vasan. And also they implemented with the new commissioner a new code to follow up COVID based on a color alert when the green means low level, yellow means medium level, and red orange means very high levels, and the red very high level. So this is easy to follow up on the Department of Health website. Also, the New York City Department of Environmental Protection has a new commissioner, and his name is Rahid Agarwala. That is the information I have. Also, abandoned vehicles in Community Board 12. A news article that was published by a street blog on March 14 with the title, "The Dereliction of Duty in the Heights and Inwood," triggered a series of alert and a series of concerns from residents and in Washington Heights and Inwood. We had the same concern, the same report from residents regarding abandoned cars or cars that are moved in the district when it's time to clean the street. But because of this article, and I sent it to a member of the cabinet, and this article was shared with us by Sally Fisher. Thank you, Sally. We have a very fleshed conversation there with the police department, especially regarding the two RV vehicle parked in front 551 West 178th Street since 2016. People were living or are living in this this vehicle, and what made the case very complex to the police department to even ticket it or remove them, because it's a residence. It's not really only a vehicle parked there that you can be, but it's a resident vehicle parked on the street. And the 33rd precinct explained, how complex is the process to remove these people there. But they were working with the legal department of the police department, trying to figure out the way. After the district service cabinet meeting, I spoke with the captain of the 33rd precinct, and he said that the day before, one of the family living there, they moved out. So this is a very complex issue with these abandoned vehicles, or vehicles that don't move, and also the vehicle with the paper New Jersey plate, that we are working on that one. Also, we received a complaint from residents of Fort Washington Avenue regarding a drag race club. Residents on Fort Washington are complaining that at night, a lot of people with fast cars, racing cars, they gather on Fort Washington Avenue, and they do racing in the middle of the street, in the middle of the night, carelessly, disturbing, the peace disturbing the quietness of the people, the residents of Fort Washington, et cetera, et cetera. So we discussed this matter at the District Service Cabinet meeting. The 34 precinct report that they knew about this since last year, and they working on this matter. And also the 34 precinct indicated that they participated in several community meetings, and some ideas came out, including the installation of speed cameras to take these people or deter them. The problem with Fort Washington Avenue is that it's a bus route street, and it's very difficult to install speed bumps there. We received a 10-day demolition notice from for the interior of the Fort Washington Library located at 535 West 179th Street as part of the renovation project. Some people got confused because the notice just said demolition of the building, the demolition and period. And people were confused thinking that the entire building gonna be demolished. But it's only the interior of the building that gonna be demolished as part of the renovation of the building. The fire department asked me to remind everyone that we changed the hour last week, and we need to take care or inspect our smoke alarm by changing the batteries. Please change the batteries, check your alarm, smoke alarm, to make sure that it's connected. New York City Parks report that the Monsignor Cat Playground will be closed from 1 year starting April 18 for reconstructions, and also informed that Jehu Wright, they had electrical problems in the park, and they asked and they're working with Con Edison to restore light, and they asked the police department to help them to maintain security there while this process of restoration of the electricity in the park. And finally, I just want to remind every committee chair, please check the calendar, April calendar, and make sure that you have your committee date and time correct. And also check the agenda items of the back of the calendar. A few committees are missing, agenda items. Please send it tomorrow, because we need to send this calendar by the end of the week to give proper notice to the community. This is the end of my report. Thank you very much. Is there any question?
All right, you have 4 hands. Steve, Liz, and then Mariel and Sally. So go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, Catherine, I request unanimous consent that the board pass a resolution wishing Ebenezer Smith a happy birthday.
Thank you.
I hear no one opposed.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay, Liz.
You need to mute yourself, Liz.
Sorry, no,
Okay.
it took me a moment to find the mute. It's a little awkward on the phone. I just wanted to thank you for following up on that traffic Fort Washington issue. I know it's a Fort Washington Avenue issue. I know it's complicated, and it involves multiple agencies, and I'm hoping that perhaps you can, since the Cloisters is closed in the evening, I'm hoping that maybe there's the possibility of discussing with DOT and the MTA and the Parks Department the possibility of closing the park at night. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that's not a good idea. It's something that has been done at times. There are times that it makes sense. There are many considerations, but I'm hoping that that's something that can be on the table, at least for discussion, to see if now is the time for the return of that idea, evening closings of the Park Road.
Thank you. Yes, we'll follow up. We're going to continue with this issue. Yes. Next.
Super. Thank you.
Firstly, happy
Ariel?
birthday, Ebenezer. I hope we have a wonderful day, and hopefully, I think as Catherine said, we're not here till 10 o'clock. But anyway, I just wanted to follow up briefly. If you recall, during the executive meeting, I raised an article that was published in the Patch regarding a number of distressed buildings in Washington Heights and Inwood. I just wanted to see if you had an opportunity to raise that at the district cabinet meeting in terms of, following up with HPD and the Department of Buildings to see what they're doing to address that. Thank you.
Unfortunately not. HPD representative is not coming to our meeting. I tried to figure out who is the representative now. And I will follow up when I have the HPD, but I have it on my notes. And I'm going to speak with them offline and then probably bring it to the next district service cabinet meeting.
Great, thank you. And I'll follow up with you separately on that and sending you the article and all of that. So thank you. Happy birthday again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And last but not least, Sally.
Happy birthday again, Ebenezer. Just wanted to confirm for our listening public that when we go to in-person meetings, we will also have a hybrid option so that people can still Zoom into our meetings.
Yes, that's the plan, that we're going to have the public connected via Zoom. Now, the issue that was described by Angel and the issue that we have with the problem of the hybrid meetings or the in-person meeting and the extension of the state of emergency is that the law as it is written right now requires that board members be present in the same room in order to cast the vote. Because of that, we need to meet in person when the state of emergency is lifted. Mark Levine's office, is my understanding, advocating to see if it's possible to change the language of the law to allow a small meeting like this one to have a valid quorum with people participating via Zoom or another means and cast the vote in that way. But until the law is not changed, if by April 16 the governor lifted the state of emergency, we will have to meet in person. Let's see and wait.
Yeah, I don't want us to speculate this evening about this. We're still in our general meeting. We have people waiting from the public. We have a responsibility both for folks who are in the attendees and as members to provide the guidance before the time comes. So I see a bunch of hands, Domingo, Angel, Darrow, and I'm gonna wrap it up with Francisco.
Happy birthday, Ebenezer. Ebenezer, I have a suggestion. In the cabinet board meetings, is it possible to highlight when one of these agencies don't attend our meetings? Just to be able to have it as a point of reflected in the minutes that you have and the people attending that, for instance, somebody didn't show up and just be able to raise that there, hey, look, in this month, in this meeting, X didn't show up for this committee. Is that possible?
Yes. But many times the agency participate when there is an issue on the agenda. But yes, I can make that. Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you. And happy birthday.
Thank you.
Darrow and Francisco.
Yeah, thank you. Happy birthday, Ebenezer.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I don't want to necessarily get into the logistics of the hybrid. I'm curious what you'll use, but I'm sure you'll pick what's best. I did attend a hybrid meeting recently, and I'll just let everyone know the mics were very live, so be very careful. It'd be interesting to see how it works out the first time and see how we can tweak it, because it is very tricky, especially involving the public and talking over each other.
Sure. Let's see what happens. Sure, I will need more staff to do this, to cover all these meetings, because we need to use probably 2 people, one for the in-person meeting and the other one for the Zoom, et cetera, et cetera. But let's see.
Okay. And Lana has said last but not least was Francisco.
Yes. Happy birthday, Ebenezer.
Thank you.
So let me get this correct. The language clearly states that the members must be present for a vote. Is that for meetings that have resolutions? So what about those committees who are not really heavy with resolutions? How can they function?
It will not be valid. It will not be valid, period. when you have the law, you know, when the emergency, a state of emergency is lifted, we have to come and meet, and the committee has to meet in person with quorum in order to have a valid meeting. And the same thing with the general meeting. So this lawsuit that we have, if we can call that, at the beginning we didn't like it, but I remember in 2020, in March 2020, nobody liked this one. But then people get accustomed and say, oh, it's nice, I can be doing something else. But right now, as the law is written, it's not forever.
Mhm.
So let's see what happens.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Is Levine here yet?
Excuse me, I had my hand up for this
I know
item.
Francisco was the last hand for this part for district managers. We were already past time and I got a bunch of electeds.
Yes.
Can
Send
you
me
reach out
an
to
email.
Ebony
Send me an email.
directly?
I'm more than happy to respond to you.
I want to keep us tight on time.
It's, I'm sorry, but it's not, I think we need to seriously consider I'm just putting it here for us to think about for later. We need to seriously consider under new business, passing a resolution, asking for some kind of extension on this so that we can, you know, continue to meet on Zoom in committees and in person in general meetings or something like that, because it's, I think, not going to be sustainable for the staff to support 10 hybrid meetings a month.
Right. Agreed. And hence why right now, Mark Levine's been waiting for the last few minutes to speak. So maybe he's going to illuminate on some of these items. Mark, where are you?
Thank you, Catherine. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. And I actually would like to update you on the open meetings law. There are many challenges for community boards, but first, I'm really happy to see all of you. Happy Women's History Month and happy birthday, Mr. District Manager. Felicidades. Seems like we were all much younger when you started here. Wishing you many happy returns. So we are engaged intensely on this challenge of the open meeting law, which really poses a major challenge to the ability to boards to continue to operate safely and effectively. As you know, we had a 1-month extension of the emergency order through April 15th. So the status quo is in place for now, but we can't live like this where every month we go up right to the deadline. We were really just the day before, last week, before we got word of the extension. It really upended all sorts of community board meetings that had been planned. Even our own borough board, which had been planned for the next morning in person, became hybrid overnight. So we are pushing for a permanent resolution here through legislation. And there's actually a very good bill in the Senate, which my friend Senator Hoylman has proposed. Actually, he and I wrote an op-ed in the Daily News about that. That would give a permanent fix so that going forward, community boards and other relevant entities would have the option to function in a hybrid format so that people who, for whatever reason, are not able to or do not feel safe with the in-person would be able to participate still. Now, we understand that it requires resources for boards to operate in a hybrid fashion. To do it right, really, it requires extra staffing and technology. It's not so easy to pull off. So know that we're aware of the resource challenges and fighting to make sure that you have resources to do that. In the meantime, we are preparing for the worst case scenario that the emergency order expires as it is currently set to do on April 15th. Again, last month it was extended. We found out the day before, really the night before, but we're prepared for it to expire. And so in that case, we have sought and obtained some pretty detailed guidance from the city's law department about how boards should operate in the worst case scenario, because there's a lot of difficult questions. We prepared a letter which was sent to all of you. I think it was April 8th. But in short, some of the biggest, the thorniest issues are how do you deal with screening for vaccination? How do you deal with mandating masks for attendees, for example? And what the law department has said is that that you can book at a venue which has those as requirements, but that community board staff and members can't be the ones doing the screening. That if the the venue that you've booked in has, I don't know, a front desk or security that does a screening, that's acceptable, but the boards cannot. I understand how crazy this all is, which is why we're fighting to avoid this. I'm just telling you what happens if the law expires. As for the hybrid option, what the law department has said is that you could do hybrid, but that any voting members must be in person so that a public could attend. But those of you who are board members or voting, whether in committee or general meeting, would have to be there in person. So I think I'm going to stop on that topic. If you have other questions on it, let me know. We're coordinating a statement now with all 5 of the borough presidents on this because we're really united on this. Even Vito Fossella, the Republican in Staten Island, we're all united on this. So stay tuned. We're going to. I do want to also tell you how excited I am about this community board application process. We have received almost 900 applications borough-wide, which is one of the highest turnout of as far back as we have records in Manhattan. So kudos to the civic spirit that is coming roaring back. We're really excited about it. And we are starting our interview process very quickly. I think the first one might be Friday. All of you should have received an email about the interview process, which is similar to what you might have gone through under my wonderful predecessor, Gail, where it's sort of a large group where you discuss a relevant community issue being done entirely online. I didn't see how much time I have left, but I gather it's quick, so I'll keep moving. Now, we are asking everybody, including reappointments, to do this interview. It's very easy. Again, it's on Zoom. You can pick one of 6 different days and times. There's a lot of flexibility. And I know that's a little different from under Gail, but at least for this time, a little less relevant in this board where I know all of you, but we just wanted to have a fair, equal, transparent process for everybody, whether they're new, whether they've been here for many, many years. So just wanted to clarify that. I think I'll use my time left very quickly on the public health situation. We have been watching Europe and especially the UK, which has kind of been our twin in the pandemic, and we're seeing cases been rising there, and New York City generally follows them by about a month, and indeed cases are rising here now. Thankfully, most experts I talk to are not expecting a horrible wave on the scale of Omicron, what we just went through. But we do still need to be cautious while celebrating our progress. The best way to keep the progress going is to take simple steps. And so I released a plan called Stay Healthy to Stay Open last week, with this in mind. And some of you have seen it, well, we can send it to you, but really the most important point is pushing hard on booster shots. We're way behind on boosters. As a city, we're way behind. The booster rate citywide is only 36%. I believe in CB12, it's under 30%. So a lot of inequality. We do really need to encourage people, especially older adults, but everybody, to get their booster shot before we're really in the midst of another wave. Finally, I'll mention, I think this is known by everyone, but I am thrilled we have a new community liaison for Board 12, someone who I think all of you know, Porfirio Figueroa. Porfirio, if you haven't already, could you just put your contact info in the chat so people
Absolutely,
know how to
I will.
reach you? Wonderful.
Yes, I will.
He's there coming to you live from 1 Center Street, if I recognize that cubicle. So we're just thrilled to have Porfirio on the team, and you'll be seeing him here on a regular basis. So I'm going to pause. If there's time for questions, I'm happy. If there's not, I understand. We can move on. Back to you, Catherine.
Thank you. I'm only taking 3, and right now I see 2, so put it up quick. Stephen Liz.
Yeah, Mark, I just want to point out that not only are we behind on boosters, but Community Board 12 is still lagging significantly behind the rest of Manhattan and the rest of the city on first doses and second doses. So we need to do a better job on the initial vaccinations as well. And I'm looking forward to working with your office on that as well.
Thank you, Steve. You're absolutely right. You know, I do focus on boosters a lot because less than half of the people in New York City who got their first and second shot have gotten the booster. So these are not anti-vaxxers, right?
No,
These are people who got the vaccine. When I talk to them, it's just like, I haven't gotten around to it. I've been busy. What's the urgency?
No,
And so,
it's inexplicable, but our problem is our people aren't even at the point, many of them, more than 30% in most of our zip codes, aren't even at that point because they're not even fully vaccinated.
well, we're going to work on that too. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, and let me just ask, does the Hoyleman bill provide that members of the board who are remote can still vote on, or still be counted towards quorum?
Yes.
All right, so I would suggest, Liz, that maybe maybe we don't vote tonight, but we vote next month to support the Hoyleman bill.
Okay, it's Liz and then Olsie, and before we move on to our next.
Just very briefly, I want to let you know that we don't have a chat feature. We only have a Q&A. So people who are not participants, people who are in the public can ask questions, which only we who are participants can see. All of which is a long way of saying Porfirio can't post his information.
Okay, sorry about that.
So if Porfirio, if you'd be willing to announce it, would be great. If not, if you can e-blast it to us.
Absolutely. I'll let Mark finish, and then I can give my information.
Porfirio, please give us at least your email, because that's
okay. So my email is p.figueroa, which is FIGUEROA @Manhattan B as in boy, P as in Peter .nyc.gov.
Excellent, thank you.
Sure.
And last but not least, Olsie.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Elsie, great to see you.
Nice to see you. So it's been in the making for a number of years. The ASPCA is looking to open a community clinic, like a community medicine clinic. And I am not sure if they picked a location in Manhattan already or not, but I think I would like to ask that we push to have a community medicine location in our district. There is a great need. You know, I'm doing cat rescue, right? So there is a great need for low-income communities to have affordable spay-neuter clinic and also general veterinarian services. People are not taking their dogs and cats to get fixed because they cannot afford $700 to get them fixed. So I want to put it like kind of, forward and see if we can work on that and talk to the ASPCA, and I can maybe, get the right person to speak to see where are they in the making of making that happen, and maybe push them to open one in our district. There is an enormous need for that.
I love this idea. The animal shelter system, ACC, does have some vans. I think they mostly use them for mobile adoption days, which are really successful. But I love this idea, and would be happy to work with you on it, Elsie. Maybe you can connect me to the relevant people at the ASPCA on that.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right, so next up we have an order of arrival, Jill Dallis from Robert Jackson's office.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night, Mark.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Happy spring and happy birthday, Ebenezer. So we're just a few more days until the state budget is finalized in Albany on April 1st. Last week, the Senate advanced the One House budget resolution as a response to the executive budget put forth by the governor. Some highlights include $4.1 billion for universal child care, $250 million for universal pre-K, $625 million for fair pay for home care workers, $600 million for SUNY, $500 million for CUNY, $200 million for businesses, and $2.5 million for the cannabis workforce. This week, Senator Jackson's bill S 2013 passed, which prohibits the imposition of any surcharge for the installation or use of a tenant-installed appliance when the tenant already pays for utilities. This bill will protect tenants from unfair charges that are already accounted for in their rent. In terms of constituent services, as Ebenezer mentioned, our office has heard many complaints about the drag racing in the last week around Margaret Corbin Circle at Fort Tryon Park. And so our office organized a walkthrough with the Department of Transportation, Parks, the NYPD, and 4 concerned residents. The MTA was invited as well, but couldn't attend. And we gathered and we discussed at the site some solutions. We're going to be following up with the commissioner. So we hope to have some relief soon. And we'll continue to closely monitor that in the district. Separately, wanted to share that Senator Jackson has spoken to Governor Hochul about the elimination of psychiatric beds at the Allen Pavilion and is following up on that concern very closely. In terms of recent events, earlier this month, it does feel like a year, we partnered with the DA, NYPD, and the Ojate Group. We had a successful gun buyback event. We recovered 49 guns, and we are hoping to replicate those efforts in Inwood. And finally, on March 30th and April 20th, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., we will be having a 2-part tenants clinic in partnership with Manhattan Legal Services. These will take place at the Amistad School at 204 Street in Inwood, and we'll be sure to send the flyers to Ebenezer's for circulation. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yodalis, you have one hand. Go ahead, Francisco.
Hello, Yodalis. Okay, so does that protection about the appliances, does that apply to folks in NYCHA?
I believe so. Oh, wait. NYCHA, are utilities covered in NYCHA?
But they get charged if they have a washing machine or if they have an air conditioner, they get charged extra.
It's for people who pay for utilities separate, if I'm not mistaken. But Francisco, I can look into that for you. I don't want to misspeak. My email, since I can't put it in the chat, is jodalis@senatorjackson.com.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If you can send me an email, I'll look into it.
Okay, I'm taking 3 hands, so it's gonna be Jay and Isidro. And just as a note, Paola, if Ebenezer's still here, if we can just add on to the directory of the new liaisons and folks so that all of the board members have it handy. Who I said? Oh, Jay and Isidro, go ahead.
The tenants' anti-eviction protection was allowed to die by the governor. Is the legislature planning to do anything about that? Also, there is a fair evictions proposal. Is that being considered in terms of the state budget or not?
So both of those, the more money, more funds for ERAP, and also the fair evictions are priority for Senator Jackson, and he has been pushing that. We are hopeful that more money will be allocated and that fair evictions will pass, but I don't have.
Actually, that doesn't quite answer my question about the eviction moratorium ending. And what, if anything, is going to be done about that?
I'm sorry, but I don't have another response for you. But I can again speak with the senator and see if there's anything I can add. Again, my email is yodalis, YODALIS, @senatorjackson.com.
Okay, awesome. And then last but not least is Isidro. Jamil, I see your hand up. You're next anyway, so.
Hi, Yodalis. A great program that the senator had about gun buyback. It's I think that it should be done at least once or twice a year. I know that you've done this many years ago, and now you're coming back. So I highly recommend that this be done like at least 2 or 3 times per year. Another question that I have is that I do have some operators asking to see if it's possible that the senator can investigate whether or not some restaurants that are in front of schools can have or can apply for the full liquor license and after 5 o'clock, meaning that, I don't know if you know, but currently restaurant wine now can only be have if there's school around, but there's a push from some operators to see if the class change can be made, meaning to a full equal license, perhaps after school, maybe after 5 or 7, because that can help a lot of our merchants. So if you can please follow that up with us, Senator, I would appreciate that.
Okay, thank you so much, Isidro. I think I heard you talk about that at the DSC meeting. I'll be sure to follow up. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Jodalis. Next up, we have Jamila Sandoval from Carmen de la Rosa's office.
Hi, everyone. Good evening and happy birthday, Ebenezer. I'm on my phone, so I won't be showing my face. A lot has been going on. I will piggyback kind of the person that just presented on behalf of housing. We've been dealing with handling a lot of housing cases, a lot of complaints from landlords just being negligent. We've been working with the Housing Protection and Development to get the negligent landlords to address the 182nd Street area. We've been working with 192nd building also because they have had issues with their cameras, and there was actually an incident where a girl was robbed of her jewelry right in front, and if the cameras had been working, we could have been working with the NYPD to capture the person who did this to the poor girl. We have implemented a new uptown organizing committees, and people can apply on that through our Instagram. It's different committees to work together to come up with an action plan for District 10. We have worked with you guys on the 186 and basketball court, which was a great turnout. We were able to have a lot of community members speak on what they would like to see for that area. And in a cool way, we were able to have them in a barbershop and broadcast the Zoom there. So that was really cool to see. We had our national, our women's event that was celebrating uptown beauty workers. Today, Carmen had her committee on civil service and labor, and the resolution was calling upon the state legislature to pass the governor to sign the Fair Pay for Home Care Act. It was great to hear all the testimonies from different people who work in that area, and also just from different agencies. Coming up, we just have different events. We have a Zoom going, Instagram Live right now, talking about Liaisons. We have the town hall for fighting for food insecurities in New York City. And that's about it, just a little snippet.
Thanks. You have Marielle and then Liz. Time 2 minutes. Go.
Thanks, Catherine. Hi, Jamila. I'm Marielle. I'm chair of the Housing and Human Services Committee. It would be really helpful if we can maybe touch base offline to follow up on some of those points, particularly those that you discussed regarding the council members' work on the housing issues, and if there can be any way that us as the Housing and Human Services Committee can be helpful to connect with you offline. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great. I did hear you speak to Ebenezer about a building. I just didn't get to hear the address. So again, I can't put my email here, but I can say it right now. It's just J Sandoval, Sandoval, at council.nyc.gov.
Okay, great. I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize my gratitude and appreciation for what the council member did and what you and the rest of her staff did to enable such broad participation in that meeting. It was fantastic. I have never seen anything like it. I hope that this is the beginning of new things to come. We had great participation in that 186th Street basketball meeting. It was, I can't say enough good things, and I just want to make sure that the maximum number of people hear that from someone other than you, so that you don't have to toot your own horn, and that it's in the minutes, because that was awesome.
Thank you, Liz. I was very happy with that event. And just the fact that people were interested to come out and speak about it, because it's a very unique situation to see a basketball court in that area.
Yeah, it's
so
a new model for community participation. It was great.
I'm excited to see how the renovations.
All right, thank you, Jamila. We got 3 more to go, y'all. Next up, we have Angelica from the mayor's office, if I'm not mistaken.
Hi everyone, good evening. Just quick 3 updates today. So as an FYI, starting Monday, April 4th, face mask will be optional for 2 and 4-year-olds in schools and daycare settings. And also, as some of you know, in light of the Bronx fire a few months ago, the mayor signed an executive order to increase coordination between HPD and FDNY to identify buildings with large numbers of fire safety violations for enhanced inspection to hopefully prevent another tragedy. And finally, the mayor announced the reappointment of Cecile Noel. She's the commissioner for the mayor's office to end domestic and gender-based violence. So if you want to get in touch with that office, you would like a presentation, you can always reach out to me and I can put you in touch. My email is aperez4@cityhall.nyc.gov. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Angelica, you got 2 hands. Sally and Jamila.
Yes, I saw the resolution that he put forward on fires. And basically, it's basically telling the agencies to do the job that you were supposed to be doing all these years. What I'm more interested in is what kind of information has been provided in terms of the causes of the fires. Inwood in particular, the fire that happened in November, we're still waiting to find out what the cause of that fire was. And it was the second fire in that building within a year. And so we would be much more interested, instead of, again, another resolution telling people to do their job, maybe trying to get to the root cause of some of these fires.
I understand, and I can actually get back to you on your specific question in regards to Inwood. I don't have access to the chat. I think it's also, is it not working again today?
Yeah, no, it's not activated.
But how can I make sure that she has my information so we
So if our board office has your email, what I just asked this evening is that all members receive a directory of liaisons. That way, everybody already has it handy.
Yeah, you have my email, but Sarah, just for your reference again, do you want to write down my email? I can verbally say it here as well. And then we can exchange numbers.
If you want, just verbally say your email and she can go back to the recording and then we'll just share the number after. You do have 2 hands, so I want to be mindful of time.
So it's A Perez, P-R-E-Z, the number 4@cityhall.nyc.gov.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Jumi, you don't have a hand anymore. Okay. It's Barbara who hasn't spoken.
Oh, yeah, I do. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So it's Jumi, Barbara, and we close. Sorry.
So I have a question for the mayor's office. I know last month you mentioned SYP, Summer Youth Employment Opportunities, how this is like record numbers. So are there any employment opportunities for undocumented young people? I think that's one of the challenges I see within our public schools, is that there's a lot of undocumented young people, and they're unable to apply to summer youth without social security numbers. So I was just wondering if there's a different outlet or something the city could do to help this specific demographic of young people.
Okay, I'm not sure about the specifics for undocumented folks, but I'm gonna reach out to Moya, the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, and see if they have any information. That way I can put you in touch, because if it's not paid, then maybe there's other ways like internships or something else that can still be done.
Thank you.
Okay, and to wrap it up, Barbara.
Yes, concerning the issue of causes of fires, the Public Safety Committee has requested of the FDNY liaison that all of the major fire incidents that occur like in apartments and buildings, not car fires, not brush fires in parks, but the apartment fires, that we get the follow-up, that they report the follow-up reports of the fire investigator as to why they happened, so that we start to get some sense of what the pattern is, what the causes are, and then what kind of interventions can be done, both, hold on. Whether it's being caused by electrical issues or human error or whatever. And so that process is starting in the Public Safety Committee.
I understand that, Barbara. The request, I made that request in your public safety meeting 2 meetings ago and have not received anything. It doesn't seem like that should take 2 months for them to report back to us.
Because the fire
Barbara, can you let her
hadn't
answer
finished-
your question? Sorry,
The
because we
fire
have people
inspector
speaking.
had not finished the investigations yet. That's why, okay?
Copy. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you for your question. I'll be in touch with the FDNY liaison for Washington Heights and get back to all of you.
All right.
Yeah, Kathy, like Barbara said, there's a process. People don't jump just because Sally wants
Please don't
investigations
mingle.
to be obscure.
Thank you, Domingo. Don't let's not repeat it. And thank you, Angelica, for coming routinely. That hasn't happened in a long time from the mayor's office. So next up we have John Francis from Sean Abreu's office, and then we have a rep from Manny de los Santos, and then we'll be opening for public session.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Francis. I'm Councilmember Sean Abreu's district director, and I'm a lawyer by trade. I'm happy to give an update on all the work we've been doing, and feel free to put in any questions, I guess, in the public session, or you can talk to me directly since the chat isn't working. Just to make sure I get it out right now, my contact information is jfrancis, that's J as in John, FRANCIS, at council, COUNCIL.nyc.gov. Just email me and I can send you our office information. So Councilmember Sean Abreu is proud to work with Arch Care and Columbia Dental to bring a mobile dental truck into our area that can work with older adults. Our office feels it's critical to meet people where they are with services. So again, reach out to my email. I can give you more information on that. We're also offering free immigration services in partnership with CUNY Citizenship Now. Our first meeting with them was this Thursday, and we're going to be doing it every single Thursday. So again, reach out to my email and I can give you the information on that, and we can set appointments for you or anyone else who needs assistance with immigration. Right now, Councilmember Sean Abreu is proud of the right to counsel, which gave low-income tenants access to legal representation during eviction proceedings. It was a resounding success, but we have a lot of work to do to enhance the capacity of attorneys to take on these cases. He's working to expand the capacity and eligibility of right to counsel legislation. Our office does specialize in housing issues. While we might not necessarily be able to represent people, both Sean and I were housing attorneys at NILAG, so we were able to offer at least a little bit of information and advice regarding any housing or housing related issues. So feel free, again, reach out to my email. We have launched a sanitation service in partnership with ACE. You can go on our website. We have a sanitation forum. You can fill out the survey and attach pictures and comments, and we'll send our crew out there right away to get rid of any sanitation issues or any eyesores that plague our district. Councilmember Sean Abreu is working with nonprofit Emma Bowen to provide mental health services to the district. Emma Bowen's currently looking for a new place, so we're just working with them to find a new facility to connect the services out. There's construction at River Arts, which is entering a new phase that will now include the sidewalk, and our office is working with the Tenants Association to make sure that their concerns, people who are disabled or who are unable to access the building are being serviced. Our office is currently working with the Department of Transportation to get some more information. We're working with Assemblymember Danny O'Donnell's office to distribute free PPE materials. We got some K95 masks up in the office, so feel free to drop by. We also got hand sanitizers as well. I think we have some of those face shields that are still there. Feel free to drop by. I can just give them to you or to whoever needs them. We also have our monthly food bank coming on this Thursday. We've been having them at the end of every month, every last Thursday. It's been a great success. We have lines that wrap around the corner. It shows a need for food in our district. Feel free to let anyone know about that. So again, it's every last Thursday, and it's this Thursday. So feel free to let everyone know and come out, grab what you can. Councilmember Sean Abreu is partnered with Congressman Richie Torres as he's introduced the Reveal Risky Business in Russia Act. This bill requires public companies to be transparent about whether they're doing business with invading countries. Our office is sponsoring a resolution in the council calling on Congress to pass this bill. And Councilmember Shauna Brea, as chair of the Committee on State and Federal Legislation, is working with Council Speaker Adrian Adams on a state agenda. In April, Councilmember Brea will go with the Speaker to Albany to push for state legislation our office hopes to get passed. That's it.
Okay, I'm like right on time. Thank you, John. We have one hand, and that's from Wayne.
Hi, John. My name is Wayne Benjamin. I chair land use for CB12. At this month's land use meeting, we had the pleasure of having Councilwoman Carmen De La Rosa join us to discuss some planning and zoning priorities of the board. And we would love to have Councilmember Abreu join us. If you could have his office reach out to Ebenezer and let us know of his availability. We'd be glad to have him scheduled to come and speak with us at land use.
I will. And Ebenezer, my email again, just in case, is John, that's J Francis, as in John Francis, J Francis at council, council.nyc.gov.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any other hands. So we're going to move on to our last speaker, which should be Damaris Rodriguez from Assemblymember Manny de los Santos. I don't know why. Damaris, are you with us?
Hello, yes. I am replacing Damaris, but I am from Senator Clear's office.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, there's two. So there's two Damarises listed, but go ahead.
Thank you. So the senator has a few updates. The first one is March 13th, there was a fire uptown, and the senator and her office went up there to make sure that all the constituents were doing well, and as well made sure they had plans for the night because it happened late at night. And so she helped plan them to get them into hotels and other buildings for the week to make sure that they were able to get out of the cold, and as well just find a place to stay where they can create plans for their next situation. But it also led to her continued focus in a bill that she's working on. If you want to know, the bill number is S7863, and that bill is requiring space heaters that are distributed or sold in the state to have thermostats, automatic shutoffs, and be certified for testing by the United States Department of Labor. She's as well working on two other bills. The first one is S8583, and that bill is focused on increasing the penalties on those engaged in human trafficking of those who are mentally disabled, mentally and physically helpless. And then the third bill that she's working on is S8414. And that bill is to help people who are financially disadvantaged when it comes to parole to be able to have counsel to protect them in those situations. Thank you.
Two hands, so Curtis and then Mario.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify for the record, could you state your position with the senator's office?
Yes, I am a regional associate. However, Damaris, when she's here, is a community liaison.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Mario.
Thanks. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. I know your name is that of your colleagues on Zoom, but I've been trying to get in touch with your office because we've wanted to invite Senator Clear to the Housing and Human Services Committee, and it's been a little bit of a struggle. So if you wouldn't mind sharing the contact information, that would be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Sure. I'll just say my email now. It's gdennis, DENNIS @nysenate.gov. And I'll get that over to the senator.
Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Thank you. That wraps up our reports. We're super lucky that we have so many folks who want to come and report. So next up, we have the public session. I will call your name. Angel Vasquez is timing, folks. And so you'll be unmuted if I can get assistance there. So for our first speaking is a duo that we're gonna unmute, and it's Arlie Evanson. Hello. Damari, I'm gonna start the public session because I had sent the panel thing multiple times. I'm gonna start the public session, and I'll give you 2 minutes after.
Okay, thank you.
So Arlie Evanson and Iggy, who are with the Wooden Button preschool in the community.
Righty, you will have, do we have the speakers available?
So let me see, Iggy and Arlie. There we go.
Hi,
you on?
this is Arlie Evanson. Yes, and Iggy, do you want to say a quick hello?
Yes, hello. My name is Iggy Kagenius. Thank you for letting us speak to you. We appreciate it very much.
You have, we'll give you 2.5 minutes considering it's 2 people.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your service to the community. We're glad that we get to be here tonight. So Iggy is the founder and director of the Wooden Button, which is a private preschool in Washington Heights that has served Washington Heights and Inwood families for the last 10 years. It's inspired by the Waldorf philosophy of early childhood education, holistic play-based with an emphasis on outdoor play and nature. Right now we have programming for children ages 9 months to 2nd grade. And in March 2020, we lost our lease, partly due to the pandemic and partly for other reasons. And so we've had a completely outdoor program in the last 2 years, which has been good during COVID, but we're now looking for a permanent home in Inwood or Washington Heights. And having a space approved for childcare is what we're licensed under is extremely difficult, which is good. But we're having trouble finding a space. And so new construction is always the easiest because there's the fewest building problems to overcome. So we are just here to put it out to the community. If you have any ideas, resources, people you could send us to speak with. We have tried to get in touch with the folks putting up the new building in Inwood, 4790 Broadway, where the public library is going to be. I know there's a pre-K planned, but we're not connected with the state pre-K. Anyway, so Iggy, have I captured it? Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, that it can be short and sweet. It's been a long evening already. We're just very eager to, our children that have, our families that have been with us have always been a combination of Washington Heights and Inwood families, even though we've been based in Washington Heights, but now we work in Fort Tryon Park.
Okay, thank you for coming tonight. I would recommend going onto the website and checking out the Business Development Committee, and so you can get in touch with them and our youth and education as well, so they can connect you to folks who might be good resources. Okay.
Catherine, if I may, maybe I could be of assistance. You can also connect with me, Isidro Medina. I work with the BID. And we do have access to a lot of spaces that might be available to you and might help you. So feel free and reach us out. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
That's the Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Medina.
All right, thank you, Iggy, again. And Arlie, next up on our public session, we have Howard representing Unique Fusion, I believe.
Yes, you have Unique Fusion.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Howard Levine for Unique Fusion with my client, Anunya Clark.
You have 2 minutes now.
Thank you for having us, everyone. It's been a pleasure dealing with the community board a few weeks ago on the public safety and now here tonight on this application for an on-premises restaurant wine license and for a temporary permit as well. This applicant has been operating her restaurant in the area for about 3 years now. She's been a productive member of the community. There's never been any issue. She previously applied to the community board for a full on-premise license. The board met with her and issued a letter of no objection. The only resolutions that they required was no DJ, no valet parking, no unenclosed sidewalk, and a display of the good neighbor signage. Because of construction costs and then the onset of COVID, the application wasn't applied for. And now the applicant is back seeking only a restaurant wine. She is a productive member of the community, is going to stay that way. She does not offer live music, DJs, no karaoke, no promoters, no private parties. She's not going to have any events. It's not a sports bar, so this Asian fusion restaurant does not attract a rowdy crowd. She will not participate in pub crawls. She will have no happy hour. She will have no all-you-can-drink specials. She just wants to be able to offer her customers some wine and some beer to pair with her food and offer them a little bit of a different experience in the neighborhood. We're happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
All right, thank you so much, Howard. Again, this is for item number 19 on our agenda, and it's Unique Fusion. We generally don't take questions at this time, and we'll be voting at the end for our resolutions if you're sticking around.
Thank you.
Next up is Julio Batista from Colombia. No, from NYP. I always get it mixed up.
Julio, do we have you?
Yes, hi.
Great. I'll
Great.
start your timer now. Go ahead. Julio.
Thank you. And thank you, Catherine. Again, it's Julio Batista. I'm with New York Presbyterian Hospital. I just wanted to really reiterate our ongoing concerns with the scaffolding at 600 West 168th Street. We have gotten no further information on the timeline or when work is going to be going to be done at that building. And of course, we remained concerned with the safety at the West 168th Street subway station. Since we last met, there was another incident at the mezzanine where there was another stabbing roughly about a week ago, which is, of course, has been an ongoing situation. But I do want to thank the 33rd Police Precinct for added patrol. We see them there, and we appreciate all the work that they're doing above, the subway. And I'd just like to ask this board to call that that same commitment that the 33rd Police Precinct has shown, that transit police likewise step up and help make that station safe. So again, I just want to thank you. I know the board, members of the board have been articulating those concerns as well, and we do appreciate the help. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next up is Sally Fisher, and she'll share what hat she's wearing. Go ahead.
Hi, it's Sally Fisher representing Friends of Inwood Hill Park. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm starting your 2 minutes now, Sally.
Okay, happy third day of spring, everyone. I hope you're enjoying this great weather. Just wanted to ask you to mark your calendars for 3 upcoming events. First, Earth Day is April 22nd. Friends of Inwood Hill Park will be doing their 7th annual Earth Day Festival from the 22nd to the 24th of April. On May 7th, which is the first Saturday in May, we will be doing the 10th annual Riverkeeper sweep, which is waterfront cleanup and all sorts of waterfront activities. And then on June 4th, we'll be celebrating with NYC Parks and Natural Areas Conservancy our first National Trails Day. As I mentioned in prior meetings, the Orange Trail in Inwood Hill Park will be designated as a National Recreation Trail. So that day we'll celebrate the designation. The designation comes from the U.S. Department of the Interior, the Secretary. So it will be designated for June 4th is National Trails Day. We'll be celebrating its designation, and also it is the 10th anniversary of the Hudson River Greenway Water Trail, which goes by the Dykeman Pier. So we'll be celebrating the 10th anniversary of their designation. So those are 3 events to mark on your calendar, and I hope we see everyone there. For more information, you can go to our Facebook page or Instagram, Friends of Inwood Hill Park. And also we can be contacted at friendsofinwoodhill@gmail.com. Thanks very much.
Great. And last but not least, we have Bailey Louie from We Act.
You had it right the first time. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, CB12. My name is Bailey. I'm the Manager of Membership and Organizing at We Act for Environmental Justice. Just 2 events. On Thursday, March 24th, we're doing our EEJ Act teach-in, which is the Energy Efficiency and Equities Job Act. We want to make sure communities are getting a fair amount of funding to upgrade their apartments and make sure they're free of mold, lead, asbestos, and are energy efficient so we don't spend most of our money on utilities. So that teach-in is going to be Thursday, the 24th at 6 p.m. So we're going to be not only teaching you how to lobby for this bill, but what you can do in the interim to make sure that your apartments, and this is for NYCHA buildings, this is for co-ops, and HDFCs as well, so anybody can participate. The other thing is on our April 9th membership meeting, we'll have our state assembly races for the 70th and the 71st district. This is the first of 5 candidate forums that WEAC is going to be doing from April 9th through May 22nd. So I'm just going to put those links in the chat. And if anybody wants to reach me, you can reach me at Louis, Louis, at WEACT, WEACT.org, or I'll put my number, which is 540-303-9162. Thank you, CB12. Have a great evening.
All right, thank you. And so that concludes our public session. We do have Damaris Rodriguez from Assemblymember Manny de los Santos off as well. So you have 3 minutes if you're still with us. Damaris?
Hear me? Can you hear me, everyone?
Yes.
Thank you for having me. Happy birthday, Ebenezer. I am Damaris Rodriguez, the Chief of Staff of Assemblymember Manny de los Santos for Assembly District 72. He has been working hard in Albany to push a budget that is fighting for schools, to give $100 million for community schools and also $40 million towards mental health programs in schools. Sorry for the background noise. Also, he's fighting to push for a budget that gives additional funding for affordable housing, which includes $500 million for NYCHA. Also in Albany, fighting to help ensure that residents in Dykeman Houses, Marble Hill, and countless other developments in the city have a safe and clean place to live. So that's just a few things that he's over there fighting for. As an assembly member that has a social work background, he knows the importance of school and having funding for education, also having additional funding for mental health, which is very relevant nowadays. So yeah, this is what I have so far. And thank you for having me in this community board, and I look forward to future collaborations.
Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so we'll be moving on now to our committee resolutions. So first up, we start with Parks and Cultural Affairs. Liz.
Okie dokie. I apologize for sending the resolution in late. That's the bad news. The good news is I think it's pretty straightforward and not controversial. There's a little bit more information than I would usually put, a little more detail than I would usually put in a resolution, but I included all that detail because I don't yet have the minutes to refer you. But essentially, we've got $1.8 million to mostly in mayoral funding and a little bit of money, $250,000 from the borough president. Thank you, Mark, for really, really necessary path repavings in Inwood Hill and Fort Tryon parks. If you spent any time in those 2 parks, you know what I'm talking about. These are serious tripping hazards where you can't like have a conversation with the person that you're with. You have to just be looking down as you walk very carefully to avoid tripping and injuring yourself. So the resolution details where exactly the work is happening, what is the nature of the work. It talks a little bit about one of the worst areas in Fort Tryon Park at the northern end, sort of going up the hill from where the Ann Loftus Playground is up to the curve of that beautiful overlook. That is not included in this project, partly because it's not contiguous. There's a long patch that's actually okay. And also because there's no way to get up to the cloisters from Broadway if that path is closed, because there's no access to other paths because of the construction fencing behind the Ann Loftus Playground. So that's going to be Parks' top priority for a subsequent project, which also would need to be funded, which is why we have this, the be it further resolved, that calls on additional funding for that project in the future. I think that's pretty much it for the resolution. I'm happy to answer any questions, but before I take them, I just want to report briefly on a couple of other things. The councilwoman's representative already dealt with the issue of the basketball, the 186th Street basketball project, so I don't need to go into that. The FCRC did have a hearing on the Bonifant, which is the applicant, the successful applicant, the winning applicant for the RFP response to the Parks Department for the concession for the restaurant in Fort Tryon Park. It's a process, so it's going to take, I don't know, might be a month, 6 weeks, something like that, for the comptroller's office to actually sign the contract. To city bureaucracy, stuff takes a while. And then they have, as part of that concession agreement, there are some required capital improvements to the facility, and they need to build the space out. Ooh, nice cat alert. Hi, Danny's cat. So it is, there's no way that this restaurant is going to be open for summer. If all goes well, who knows, perhaps they will be open by fall. That would be nice. But again, it's difficult to say. I did get a call from one of the principals of the Bonifant, and she was not able to come to this evening's meeting, but I'm hoping that she will come to our next committee meeting. I've also encouraged her to reach out to Isidro to go to that meeting as well, and to just, you know, forge a relationship with the community to tell us about what their plans are. I don't have information yet on how many applicants there were for that RFP and on what some of the other proposals were. That information is not yet public, but we will be able to foil it once the new contract is actually signed. I know I'm forgetting something that I'm sure I'm going to remember as soon as I stop talking. I see Isidro's hand up and also Osi's hand up. Questions?
That is time.
Thank you, Liz. And again, you probably know where I'm coming from, in the sense that in the sake of transparency, and of course, in making this open to the community, as you all know, we would like to see that some of our local operators, besides the one that was approved, that they had a fair chance at this competition. It is a wonderful venue. The Parks Department does their due diligence, and we hope that, you know, in the future that they become more accessible in providing opportunities for our Latino local restaurants and operators. You already know my intake into that, and I'm looking forward to seeing them when they come to licenses. So thank you so much, Liz, for your report.
Thank you. Osi?
Hi, question about I would like to know if you have an update about the nature center in the peninsula, or if you can find out where is it? It's 10, no, it's not 10, it's 8 years, right?
Yeah, so I'm happy to give you, the short version is the city got completely screwed by the feds in terms of what they would, not Homeland Security, what's the
FEMA.
FEMA, yes, FEMA completely screwed the city in terms of how they managed reimbursement for the contract. And by the time they decided that they were going to pay however much it was going to pay, several years had gone by and it got much more expensive. So then they had to rebid the whole thing. And every time the cost went up, Edonis was like on it and kept on saying, oh, okay, you need some more money, here's some more money. So, our elected officials were very responsive to trying to fund it. The Parks Department was really diligent in trying to get this project moving, but the comptroller's office would not allow the contract to be registered until it was fully funded. So it was this very bad downward spiral. I can give you more details offline. The short version is the contract is registered. They're moving forward. It's in, I don't know if the contract is registered. It's in procurement. It is moving forward. The bathrooms have been done. And I will give you a better report and more details when I comb through my report. My old minutes.
And it will be 10 years in October.
Yes, it will have been 10 years. And although people are pissed about that, and they should be pissed about that, I want to be really clear. There are any number of times that the Parks Department, like any other agency, doesn't do things as we might like. This is not that. This was FEMA. And if you want to be angry at FEMA. One other thing is in our next meeting.
If we can wrap that up,
our agenda item, we do have a guest, a member of the Lenape Center who will be coming to help us continue the conversation that we've been having over a couple of years on renaming. Yeah, man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Liz. Next up is Marielle Ali. So you do the reso and the report. Sorry.
Great. Thank you, Catherine, and good evening, everyone. Yes, so the Housing and Human Services Committee, we have a resolution before you. It was sent this afternoon, titled Resolution in Support of Creating a Citywide Searchable Resource Platform. This was, well, firstly, thanks to Aisha for kicking us off with the draft, and to the committee members that provided their input. Just a little bit of background on the resolution, and then I'll kind of go into bits and pieces, and of course, welcome any questions or comments on it. Firstly, this resolution came out of an earlier discussion that the committee had, I believe, in January or February, excuse me, regarding some comments that we had seen within some of the online Facebook groups where there was an individual seeking community services. It seemed as if the individual was seeking, alternatives to shelter, but also seeking support on food pantries and so on and so forth. And it sparked the discussion about the need to, one, have a updated resource document. We recognize that the community board does have its own resource document, but we also realize that it hasn't been updated in a long time due to limited capacity, but also that it's not very functional and that it's just kind of a static PDF. So the committee did actually do quite a bit of research in terms of what other community boards have within Manhattan as it relates to their resource documents. In some cases, it was a web page. In other cases, it was a PDF. This then led to a discussion that we had as a committee about the need for something that's a little bit more agile, something that is searchable, something that is easily accessible. So we are calling on the Manhattan Borough President's Office, along with elected officials for discretionary funds, to create an online platform that would capture all of these different community resources. So these community resources can range from housing services, food pantries, social services, so on and so forth, as well as local community resources. In the resolution, the actual be it resolved is just asking for the Manhattan Borough President's kind of commitment to initiate such a thing. We do leave it a bit open in terms of what the platform looks like, just because it could be, for instance, the use of a third-party platform where there are apps that do such a thing. But we also call on the Manhattan Borough President's Office to use existing resources. So for instance, things with, 311 websites and so on and so forth. And just as a note, before I pause on the resolution, I did receive a friendly amendment from Wayne, and I want to read it, which I accept. Wayne, thank you for that. And it's that because it is calling on the MBPO to initiate a citywide program to include language about also coordinating with the mayor's office and the 4 other borough presidents. I'll pause there and see if there are any questions, and then I'll kind of give a brief recap on other things the committee is working on.
Okay, Steve. Mr. Simon.
Yeah, the resource directory is something that the board itself created, and this resolution seems to read as though it was something that was given to us by some outside party. So one thing I would recommend is that we delete the language from the 6th whereas clause that says that the current community board development had a resource directory. I don't know the rest of this, OCR, searchable PDF solution, which has been provided for the CB12 district. It hasn't been provided for the district. We provided it ourselves. So I think that language is not exactly on point. And the other thing I want to say is I'm somewhat uncomfortable with the final resolved language, which appears to give the borough president's office a deadline by which they have to respond to us. I don't think that's the way we should be interacting with the borough president's office. We should be asking them to cooperate and to work with us, but I don't think we should ever tell them that they must respond to us by a date certain. That's not, I think, a correct approach.
Okay,
Thanks, Steve. Can I respond to Steve, and then Debbie can come in?
Yeah, I mean, and Steve, if it's an amendment that you're asking for, say it as well. So go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, thanks. Steve, your first point on changing the language around the community resource document, I think that's fine. I accept that as a friendly amendment, and we can certainly change the language to reflect that. In regards to your comment about the be it resolved, I'm also open to it. I think the committee's kind of thought process when we put this together was more so recognize this is a really lengthy process, more so some kind of, I guess, initiation or response from the Manhattan Borough President's office to this resolution to say, yes, actually, this is a great idea. Let's start the process. Let's begin those conversations to move such a platform forward. Debbie?
Thanks, Mariel. I love the idea of having relevant resources available to our community. I don't love this resolution. I think it's overspecified. I don't want to read the words API in a resolution. That's maybe just a personal thing, but I think we as a community board ask people to do things, and we can ask them to do things, and that's the important thing. But when we do this a lot, start getting into how people are supposed to do it, that's not our, we have agencies of human beings who do stuff and all that. But I guess my bigger point is it's sort of overspecified in some way and then underspecified in another. I mean, the city has an entire agency of human beings, or a part of the mayor's office that's like responsible for all the resources of the city of New York. So for example, and I think the idea behind this was that's true, but what we don't have is then bringing in the social services organizations that wrap around these many city services. So one issue is city services, and that to me, we shouldn't be in, that's at the city level, and you can't recreate that, so to speak. So if the idea is more about sort of adding the, because sometimes there's private parties, there's, not-for-profits who are involved, whether it's with food insecurity or what have you. But we're the community board, so our concern is sort of like who's operating in this, in our CB12 area. And then it comes back to sort of where Steve started, which is like we had something that we created that I imagine was trying to just get at, again, relevant and service providers in our area. My last thing is, like, we're part of the Borough President, so I'm not sure why this is even a resolution. Like, can somebody pick up, like, isn't this just more of like, can we talk to the Borough President about this? Like, do we really ever, I mean, I know we make resolutions pointed typically at city agencies and sometimes state entities, and once in a while federal, but really, like, really our own sort of boss? Like, wouldn't that just be a like, hey, how can you help leverage our efforts to have, like, reach our goal of this searchable sort of single stop resource to people looking to take advantage of city resources, but also the correct, also know about whatever. I'm starting to be redundant.
Debbie, I was gonna say time.
But
Yeah, I was gonna
need
say.
to respond to that. It's not working for me.
I got you. Thank you for sharing your comment. Daryl, and then Marielle, if anything.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Just a few things, I think one, having it to the borough president, I don't see an issue with that because that's the office that we want to execute this. But also, I think some of the thinking of the committee in terms of timing and everything is the important thing is that this information gets out there. The way the resolution kind of points out the way we would like to see it, ideally. But if they're not able to buy in, or if the borough president's office is not able to provide resources to make this happen, then, we need to go to plan B and work something else out, specifically for our community. So, but we don't want to wait. We don't want to wait, 3 years while bureaucracy, stumbles around. So, I think that's part of the reason for the timing issue as well.
Correct. Thanks, Daryl. And just to come in on responding to your point, but also to some of Debbie's points, which are certainly valid. Also part of it is, the pandemic has really exacerbated the need for these services. And I think that particular incident that I mentioned, that happened online, which I'm sure many may be familiar, but I'm sure it's happening everywhere. We find it incredibly important and timely. And because we're asking for funds to be attributed to it, because obviously this is not going to be free, that's also our thought process. To your point regarding, yes, it's heavy on some ways in terms of what the process could look like, but light on other ways. It's because we do think there's obviously a space for us to work with the Manhattan Borough President's office to see what that could look like, and having that flexibility there. But thank you for your points. Well taken.
All right, thank you, Marielle. So I see no other hands. Yeah,
Catherine, sorry, can I quickly then just come in on a final point that the committee is working on as well?
That's part of your report, so we'll knock it out.
Please. Great, thank you. Yes, I've raised this before, I think, with the executive committee, but not so much with the larger general board. So the committee is looking to host a resource fair in summer, timing to be noted, but really looking forward to, and really we're finding it or looking for it to be an opportunity to bring together a lot of these resources, again, very much in line with the fact that we need to bring these resources to the community where people are. And the fact that, the system is quite complicated, and for someone who's seeking support, it can be quite difficult to navigate the different processes. And so we're looking to have a resource fair in the summer, potentially Highbridge Park, working closely with Ebenezer and the team to sort that out. But we'll be looking to all of you and your kind of expertise and resources, as you all also know, community partners, agencies, so on and so forth. So we'll be in touch with further details on that. And as always, thanks to the committee for all of their work. Thanks, Catherine.
All right, awesome. Save the dates. Okay, so next up we have licensing. Yeah, 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. You're running a great session, so congratulations. It's a great meeting. Quickly, for the first time, I don't know in how long, we did submit our resolution and minutes very early. And I gotta give shout out to Asimari that worked on the minutes. I quickly worked on the resolutions. I'm writing out 21, and they were handling like really, really early. So I'm very grateful for the support that I'm getting from the committee. Quickly, we are not voting on agenda item number 2, 16, and 20. I am going to ask, however, that agenda item number 7 to be tabled. And the reason why I would like to table this particular resolution is that we voted down the applicant because they didn't show up, and the precinct has some concerns about some issues that were raised. As a committee, we would also like to ask questions about this particular applicant, and since they were not there at the meeting, we are voting them down. However, minutes later, after the applicant was reviewed, the applicant was able to come into the meeting, and we were informed that the reason why they were late was because they received a late link from the office. That was confirmed from the office with Chanel. And at that point, I indicated that we'll make sure that this applicant will not be heard by the, this committee, this board. So we decided that the best course of action was to table this back to committee. So you will not be voting.
If I could just interrupt you, Cedro.
Yes,
technically, you're mixing two things. And this is a good lesson for the rest of us also. When we table something, it goes on the board's table and it can stay there for as long as we want. It can disappear into nowhere. What you're specifically asking for, and you said that, but you mixed it up with tabling, is you want it referred back to committee.
Correct. So it's
right. And I second that. If that's a motion, I second it.
Can I just get the number again for the record? Just
this agenda item number 7 that the chairs are requesting to be tabled back for next month.
Can he
refer it back to committee?
Wait, Steve. Hold on, Steve. Wait. Curtis, did you get it?
So number 7 is referred back to committee. Yes, got it.
Yeah. Is your hand also up because you have questions?
That was my question.
Okay. Isidro, finish your report and then we'll take the questions.
So the issue would be that it will be second, then we'll table, so we'll go through the process. So there were practically an uneventful meeting. All of the applicants that were approved, they did submit and answer all the questions by the committee. And at this point, I should open up the floor to see if you have any questions.
I'll see Jay and Steve.
What is second?
Isidro.
Yes.
Question about that specifically. Did the applicant agree to come back to the next month meeting and not to file with the SLA? Because we know we have some 45 days and all the timing and all that. And so if that's the case, why are we tabling it and not calling it a withdrawal?
Because we would not withdraw it at that meeting because a vote had already taken place. And they did agree to come back, take into account that will not take any punitive action at this general board meeting.
Okay, so they're not filing with the SLA for a date.
Correct.
Thank you.
They were informed to reach out to the staff to make sure that they follow the process to reapply.
Thank you.
So point of clarification, Madam Chair. So there was a motion and there was a second made. Who made the motion and who seconded?
Jim Berlin. So Isidro, actually, wait, can he make the motion?
Sorry, technically we really have to vote on it, or you have to do the magic. Are there any objections to this amendment when you're done coughing? And then, the hearing none.
I heard Isidro make the motion. Sorry, Jim seconded it. Now let me just bring it to the floor before I go back to hands. Are there any, is there anyone opposed or abstaining? Okay, hearing none, motion passes, right?
So Jim, just for learning, when I do the roll call, anyone who's present currently would be listed as a no objection, right? So in support of the motion.
Everyone who is current at this moment did not object, which means by implication, they all approved.
Got it. Thank you.
We will make that inference.
Point of clarification, so the minutes would read, it was moved by whatever, it was seconded by whomever, there was no objection.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
What is it? Oh, Jay and then Steve.
Isidro, just because I got the agenda late and for some reason your report disappeared on my phone, could you please explain what numbers 10 through 16 mean by the change in the procedure for those firms?
Sure, certainly. So agenda number 10 and 11 are class changes, which means that they are going from restaurant wine perhaps to a full liquor license. Then agenda item number 12 was rejected by the committee for specific reasons where the operator was not present, and there were a lot of reports from the NYPD that had to be taken into account. Then agenda item number 13 and 14, they become on the method operation changes, and the minutes should reflect what was asked, and we did ask pertinent questions. Agenda number 15 is an alteration to the license, and again, the minutes will reflect what the changes are, very minor change, but it nevertheless had to be reported. Then agenda number 16, which is a new liquor license that was withdrawn prior to the meeting. And the rest of the particular items are for new liquor license, which was only one that we approved, and then the rest were like restaurant wine licenses.
Thanks a lot for your help, and I'm sorry to have interrupted. It's
Not at all.
fault I didn't get it.
Not at all. Steve?
Yeah, I'm somewhat concerned about number 14, where we're acceding to the request to allow recorded and live music until the time the restaurant closes, depending upon the day at either mostly at either 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. And I don't see any reference in the resolution to having a sound limiter or soundproofing. The establishment is diagonally across from Dyckman Houses, and I'm concerned about possible noise problems with people trying to sleep at the Dyckman Houses. Is there a reason why we didn't try to add some restrictions here besides just having a good neighbor sign?
Yes, indeed. And that's because the applicant already had installed a sound limiter and the space has been properly soundproofed. That's why we requested for the good neighbor sign, because they already have a sound limiter in place and the space has been properly soundproofed.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Liz.
Steve touched on some of my questions. So given that they already have a sound limiter and soundproofing, that language should probably be reflected in the reso. There should probably be a whereas that says something like, whereas they are soundproofed and have a sound limiter. I'm also curious, your minutes don't seem to reflect attendance of community members. So was there anybody from the Dyckman Houses? Like,
right, there were no,
are there members of the community who attend your meeting, or are they were there, they're just not reflected in the minutes?
we didn't, and I can ask the members of the committee to chime in. I don't recall seeing any residents at the meeting. But I would take your recommendation as a friendly amendment to add the whereas for the sound limiter that has been properly installed and the space has been properly soundproofed. I'll take that friendly.
Okay, I see no additional hands. So with that said, I will.
Could I just say one other thing about item number 19, Unique Fusion? I just want to say that this is a fantastic restaurant. They're lovely people. They have excellent food, and I strongly encourage folks to vote for them.
Thank you very much.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cedro. So Curtis, I pass the baton on to you if you're ready. Curtis and Emily, sorry.
All right.
Marielle, do you have a question before we start voting?
Just really quickly, because I noticed when I was talking through the Housing and Human Services resolution, I didn't come back on Steve's amendment regarding the timeline. And so I do accept that as a friendly amendment. So it no longer has the date. It just says that we ask the Manhattan Borough President's Office to confirm commitment to the project to our community board. So there's no longer a date there. Just wanted to clarify that for everyone's understanding. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to go ahead and also approve the minutes for the meeting?
Yes, thank you. Should we vote on it as we're voting? Or no, let me just ask now. Is there anyone, I'm gonna make a motion to, no, sorry. I'm gonna call for a vote on the minutes for February 2022 minutes. Is there anyone in opposition?
Actually, I think I previously made a motion to adopt the minutes as modified and Angel seconded.
Yes.
Oh, okay, wow.
But we didn't vote. We put off the vote.
We deferred the vote so that people could have.
Okay, got you. Yes, I'm just asking the question. So is there anyone in opposition? Anyone abstaining? All right.
Basically, what we did, by the way, is we tabled it for a short amount of time, and that's tabling the way we're supposed to table. A tabling. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. So this evening we are voting on our resolutions. Resolution number 2 and resolution number 16 are withdrawn, and resolution number 7 is now being referred back to committee. So we're voting on everything else.
20 is also withdrawn.
20 is withdrawn. And 20, yes, got it. Perfect.
Is the housing resolution resolution B?
It is resolution B.
Okay.
All right.
I had one other question before we vote.
Okay.
It's a question about item number 4. I'm just looking, I just want to confirm, I know that that is a restaurant that has been in the past very controversial, and there's often been a lot of opposition to it. So so I gather that from the lack of opposition, they're clearly doing the things that had been asked of them. And I just feel like it's appropriate to, kind of highlight that. Sometimes we complain about businesses and then they clean up their acts, and that appears to be what has happened here. And I think that's worth noting.
Wow, Liz, great point.
Great point.
All right. So,
try to be fair.
Okay, we're going to begin. Joel Abreu. Joel? Jamirna?
Yes.
Yes, Jamir, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Maria Ali?
Yes to all. Thank you.
Richard Allman? Richard Allman?
Yes to all.
Mary Anderson is excused. Glennis is not here. Wayne Benjamin?
I abstain on 10 and 11, yes to the rest.
Jim Berlin?
I do yes to all except for number 10, 11, 13, and 14, on which I vote no.
Yes to all except 10, 11, 13, and no on, what was your
14.
No? 14. Thank you so much. Daniel Bonilla?
Yes to all.
Tanya Bonner? Tanya Bonner? I'll come back to you. Eleazar is absent. Daryl Cochran?
Yes to all.
Noah Crawford is excused. Robin Cruz?
Yes to all.
Waldis Cruz? Absent. Catherine Diaz?
Yes to all.
Dominga Estevez,
Yes to all.
Gabriela Estrella,
Yes to all.
Ashley Fernandez is absent. Sally Fisher,
I'll vote no on 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 18, and 21, and yes to the rest.
okay. Faye Florimon,
Hello, yes, yes to all.
You're ruffling feathers, bro.
Barbara Frazier,
Yes to all.
Samari Hernandez,
Yes to all.
thank you. Marion James,
Yes to all.
thank you very much. Danielle Jetu,
Hey, Miriam.
Danielle Jetu. Is Danielle Jetu still a member of the board? Catherine?
That I haven't heard otherwise, but she's not here.
Leo Jimenez. Leo.
Yes to all. Thank you, Curtis.
Joseph Kalinsky.
I'll say yes to all.
O.C. Kamener.
No to 11, 13, 14, yes to the rest.
Michelle Lee.
I'm a no to B and yes to the rest.
Francisco Lopez.
Yes to all.
Thank you. Elizabeth Lois Ritter.
Yes to all.
Maria Luna.
I'm voting no to the letter B. Then 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15. Yes to the rest.
Okay, no on B, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, and 15.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Emily Marte.
Curtis?
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's Tanya. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was in the middle of something. I'm so sorry. You can come back to me. I just want to let you know I'm here. Okay.
I'll loop back around, make sure I got you. Emily
All
Marte.
right.
Can you come back around to me?
Oh, certainly. Cindy Matos.
Curtis, I'm also here, Curtis. Just circle back to me as well. Thank you, Curtis.
Cindy Matos.
Cindy's not here.
Jay Mazer.
No to B, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, and 18.
Okay.
And yes to everything else.
Got it. Isidro Medina.
Yes to all.
Debbie Nababian.
No on B, yes to the rest.
Jonathan Nunez Fermetta.
He's not here.
Okay. Aisha Ogilvy is not present. Wendy Pena.
Yes to all.
Thank you. Paradise Phoenix, not present. Bruce Robertson.
Yes to all.
Genesis Salas.
Not here.
Not here. Etta Santiago.
Sorry, yes to all.
Steve Simon.
Not voting on A because of my position with the New York City Parks Department. Abstaining on B, yes to all others.
Okay. Angel Vasquez.
He said he would be back. No.
Okay. Curtis Young, yes to all. I'll go to the top of the list one more time. Joel.
Yes to all.
Okay. Tanya Bonner.
Yes to all. That's a first.
Okay. Eleazar is not here yet. Nobles is still gone. Waldy's Cruz, not here either. One more second. I think that is.
No, you have Yosef who has his hand up.
Yeah. Can Can I change mine to abstaining on B, please?
Abstaining on B?
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
B and yes to the rest. Okay, Emily Marte, you ready now?
I'm looking for, give me another second, sorry.
Is there anybody else?
Okay, so I was going to say no to 7.
Wait 1 second, let me find your name again.
Sorry about that.
No to 7, okay.
7 was withdrawn.
Well, 7 with, yeah, 7
Oh,
was
okay, that's why I was like confused. Okay, then yes to all.
referred back to committee, so yes to all.
Mhm.
Okay, I think that's all. Thank you so much, everyone, for being great sports. Oh, no, Angel, did Angel come back?
Let's see. No.
All righty.
That's what it is. All right. Thank you, everybody. So up next, committee reports. We're gonna start with you, Debbie, on traffic and transportation.
I'm going to make it quick and easy. Please refer to the minutes. We had 2 items on the agenda: update on the Broadway Bridge construction, and some report back on a traffic study that was done around the Haven Avenue Plaza area. Hit me if anything.
All right, thanks. Business development, Francisco Lopez. Francisco, you around? I'm gonna come back to you. Concerns of the aging.
I got this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here for Mary. Thank you. I'm going to refer everyone to the minutes and look at our agenda coming up for next month as well. Some exciting developments in the aging committee. Just going to reference my background is because the YU Maccabees won the Skyline Championship a few weeks ago. They made it not too far in March Madness, but they did win the conference, and proud for our community. So that's that.
Is Terrell going to get drafted by the NBA?
We will see. He's
there's a good
he's
player
doing
there,
that full
too.
time right now.
I want him to come to a community board
Yeah,
meeting.
it's a good point, by the way. I mean, the top scorer in the nation, I think, was Ryan Terrell out of Washington Heights, averaging like 27, 28 points a game.
So, all right.
I think that was for the Division 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, across Division 3 then. You sure it's only Division 3? I'm not sure. Either way, it's pretty good.
Anyway, we got
Better than I could do in my college days.
Cool, thank you, Joseph. Next up is Faye with Youth and Education. Faye, can you hear?
Yes, I thought it was housing. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Yes, I just wanted to refer to the minutes, but one thing that I wanted just to pound on it is just please pay close attention to the situation that we have with the school academy leadership, which is located Inwood Academy leadership, located in 204 and 10th Avenue. The situation of there is that parents are very concerned with the distribution or selling of marijuana, and that's something that they really asking the community to help in any way that the community can. The board, whatever info the board can hopefully help in any way as well. And the other thing that I want also to share is that we have Community Education Council 3 that came to the president, what is his name? Lucas Lewitt. He came actually to announce that the new chancellor is going to be on March the 30th. So anyone that may have questions for the chancellor, so they should join us, and they should visit their website. So just look at the minutes, please. And this is it. Thank you all.
Sally, go ahead if you have a question for Faye.
I just wanted to note that on April 5th, 2022, there's going to be a public hearing on the proposed temporary co-location of part of the Zeta Charter School with PS 98, the Shirakapak School on 212. It would be for 1 year, 2022 to 2023, but it's raised a fair amount of concern with parents.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna keep moving and then I'll go back to folks. Health and environment, Steve.
Yes, let me give the latest report on COVID-19 statistics for our community. Last week, we had pretty low positivity rates, slightly higher than a month ago, except zip code 40 had an extremely low rate of 0.44%. But there still were 77 new cases last week in our community. Our transmission rate about the same as what we had a month ago. Interestingly enough, still lower than the citywide and Manhattan rates. Our total cases since the beginning of the pandemic are now 47,027 cases, 354 more since the last time we met on February 22nd. Total deaths, 919, 11 more since we met on February 22nd. Our vaccination rates have been pretty static, between 76 and 81% for one dose in our zip codes, and between 69 and 72% for people who are fully vaccinated. At my request, Dr. Karen Thornton, a local resident, has continued to station a mobile vaccine and testing van outside the Good Shepherd Church on Broadway at Isham Street, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 4 p.m. This was arranged with the help of Assemblymember Taylor's office. Also want to report on the fact that at our last committee hearing, we had a report from the engineering firm that's overseeing the remediation of the site at 4650 Broadway at Sherman Avenue. It was reported that that contamination was found on roughly 1/4 of the site, where a petroleum storage tank had previously been was previously located. 3,500 cubic yards of soil will have to be removed. That's a total of 268 truck trips. The process was explained to us on how they're going to take measures to ensure that dust and contamination doesn't seep out of those trucks, and there'll be an on-site environmental engineer at all times to monitor the process, and as well as a community air monitoring plan to check on odors and odors that and contamination that would that might affect the neighboring community. And finally, I want to thank State Senator Jackson's office. As we heard earlier in this meeting, he spoke. We're told that he spoke to Governor Hochul about restoring the psych beds at the Allen Hospital. It's very important that we try to preserve these beds, and I'm pleased that he took that action, and I hope he's joined by all of our other elected officials in that effort.
Okay, you have two quick hands, Jay, Maria.
What I wanted to know is if you had any information as to whether there are either local or citywide wastewater tests results that might explain more accurately the infection level.
Well, yeah, you brought up this issue at our committee meeting, and the representative from the health department promised to look into it and get back to us. So I will reach out to her tomorrow to see if she has a report. If she found out anything that I can pass on to you and the other members of the committee.
Okay, Maria.
Hi, Steve. I just received an information from Dave Crenshaw from the Uptown Dreamers. They having tomorrow at the Shaba Center on 165th Street and Broadway from 1 to 6 p.m. Vaccine, Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. They're going to have booster shots also. And also they are going to be giving until they run out of them, $25 gift card to those that haven't received the vaccination yet. So make sure that, you know, we spread the word, and this is happening right here in our community. At the Shaba Center tomorrow on the 23rd from 1 to 6 p.m.
All right, well, thank you for bringing that up, Maria. This is the work that Dave is doing in the community through the, I believe it's the National Black Leadership Commission on Health is very important. He's been very consistent in trying to provide these vaccines on a pretty frequent basis. and he should be commended. It's the Malcolm X and Betty Shabazz Center at Broadway and 165th Street. So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next up is Domingo, Public Safety.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the minutes weren't be able to be done. They should be ready soon. I have an update though as far as for DA Bragg. There was going to be a public safety forum at the end of the month. He contacted me, somebody from his office contacted me, I believe yesterday evening to say that he was double booked for that day. So unfortunately that we were going to have to move up the public safety forum to another date. So that's currently what's happening. So just trying to figure out what date works best to have a conversation around public safety. And what that does as well is it gives it the ability to add both commanders from the 33rd and the 34th to engage in that conversation as well, and be able to address concerns that the community may have and really understand the processes in which these folks are operating. But yeah.
Jumi, your hand. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to add to Domingo's report that we do have the representative from the Edgecombe facility, sorry, I forgot his name, they mentioned to us a few months ago that they are going to be having a tour of the Edgecombe facility, which is located on 611 Edgecombe Avenue, pretty much the corner of between 163rd and 164th Street and Edgecombe Avenue. I believe there's going to be, it's not fully confirmed yet, but we're waiting on that confirmation. 5 seats specifically reserved to community board, 12 members. If anyone's interested in attending the tour of the facility, feel free to reach out to me. And
What is that date?
This will be June 7th.
Okay. Thanks, Jumi. Paola also sends out the directory, or you could reach out to directory to get Jumina's board email. I'm gonna take the hand from Barbara and then move on to our next chairs.
I'm also in the process of coordinating with the woman at the sergeant at the Edgecombe facility, that we as a community board and community can connect with making donations to the facility. Things like puzzles, paperback books, some forms possibly of clothing and so forth. I'm speaking with her again this week, and what they would like to do is have the donations come to the community board. They cannot come directly to the facility because they have to be inspected first before they go over to the facility. So the head of the facility, and she would come over, examine them, and then take them over. And I think that's a real opportunity for the community to connect and support and show that the incarcerated individuals there are connected to the community, and the community cares about them, wants to see them move forward. And so that's an initiative the Public Safety Committee is taking. And I think we can start even just with the community board and a few people. We're not looking to send tons of stuff over, but some well-placed choices will make a difference over there.
Okay, thanks, Barbara. And we still have a good amount of attendees, so please go on our website and check out when Public Safety meets for every month. And you can check out if you're interested, in supporting these events.
Yes, so that's the beauty of engaging a committee, other chairs. Empower your members to lead stuff.
Thank you for best practices, Domingo. Next up, we got land use and Wayne.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. So I refer everyone to the minutes. We in March had basically 3 agenda items to discuss. As I mentioned earlier today, Councilwoman Carmen de la Rosa joined us to not only talk about, some of the planning and zoning priorities that the community board has advanced, but also to share with us her priorities as well. And what she sees her role to be in things like follow up on, the inward rezoning commitments, as well as some of the resolutions we've recently passed concerning, rezoning and preservation, where, she is supportive of the position and will reach out to Councilman Abreu to see what they collectively can do to kind of push city agencies that have been non-responsive to respond. We talked very briefly, and we'll talk in more detail at the April meeting, about the City Planning's Fresh 2 program. And you recall that 4650 Broadway, the board had a resolution where we voted against that application, but it was approved nonetheless. And it was pointed out to us that the way the program is currently structured, if applications meet certain, technical criteria, the chair has really limited latitude not to approve it. So our thought is the program currently has a test of oversaturation for supermarkets that are developed under the program. It has no test or needs test for other supermarkets in the area that would argue for or against, approving the application. So we think we can brainstorm this a bit and suggest modifications to the guidelines of the program so that it includes not just supermarkets that are built under this program, but supermarkets in the area of the proposed new application as well. And then we had a follow-up discussion with Dr. Ramona Hernandez of City University's Dominican Studies Institute about the proposed Dominican Historic District that was originally presented to land use in October of 2020. She pointed out that the application is currently being reviewed by SHPO, and in the SHPO process, until it decides, how it's going to move on that, the public discussion cannot take place. Once they've rejected, and if they reject, there is no public discussion, but if they approve it, or if they have suggested modifications, then there are a number of follow-up steps. And among those follow-up steps is outreach to all the building owners in the area, the community board, and the elected officials. We also, had a discussion of the relationship between, her proposal and the resolution that Congressman Espaillat had advanced, and the two are separate. However, they are often, being thought of as being one and the same. So we pointed out there was a importance in the accuracy of messaging, so it's clear what the CUNY proposal is and how it is and is not related to what the congressman has proposed. But also, she pointed out, and we confirmed with SHPO, that the SHPO designation process is not exclusive. So if this district is designated, it does not prevent any other building or site or district from overlapping the same geographic area. The nature of the National Register process is it's additive. So you always keep and recognize whatever has already been designated, and then you add to it. As I said, we will discuss in more detail in April what could potentially be done to improve the guidelines for the Fresh 2 program.
Awesome, thanks, Wayne. Francisco, you giving a report? All right, so refer to the minutes for business development. That wraps up our committee reports. Is there any old business?
Hold up. Hey, Catherine, I'm here. Can I just go over it real quick?
You got 30 seconds, Dominic.
Okay.
Nah,
So for March, we focused on the licensing, the different types of licensing for cannabis here in New York. There's 9 different licenses, and we had resources that we can pull from the community that are experts in the licensing, and they explained it to those that attended the meeting, as well as we had folks from Oakland, California speak on their experiences in owning their own cannabis dispensary, so they can let people that are listening in have an understanding of what they're going to get themselves into. And we're going to continue the conversation. And I also encourage my other chairs from other committees who cannabis might affect, whether it be negatively or positively, so we all kind of get on this together, because the rules are going to come out, and this is going to be real. It's going to really happen. It's going to be robust, and it's going to be a lot, and we all need to get together on this. So that's my report, and that's it. Thank you.
Angel, your hand was up for who?
Sorry, I had to step away when we were voting, and I just wanted to say my vote, if that's okay.
Yeah, if I recall from Jim's clarification, it's still okay since you were present on the meeting. Curtis, you around?
I can take your vote. How do you vote?
Yes to all.
Oh, thank you very much.
Cool. All right, so I had called for old business. Is there any new business? Steve?
I just want to make a quick point, following up on the discussion earlier in the meeting about making a note about the agencies that do not attend district service cabinet meetings. It should be understood that not every agency is required to attend, only those agencies that are organized according to community district lines. So for instance, HPD is not required to attend the cabinet meetings. They can choose to do so, but they're not required to. And there are various other agencies that fall into that category as well.
Okay, thanks. That brings up a really good point. Domingo?
Yeah, and I think to go off what Steve just said, I don't think it's a matter of them choosing to attend, but if they get an invitation in these meetings, it should be noted that these individual agencies were invited and they didn't attend, just to put it on the record as well, not only at our local level, but also at those meetings.
I'll take Liz. Okay, we'll take Liz, Darryl, and then I think some of these recommendations should be because Ebenezer runs these meetings. Let's direct them that way, and maybe the office can organize themselves around that. Liz?
Yeah, I can't believe Domingo and I are agreeing with each other twice in like less than an hour, but
It's 2022,
yeah,
that's why.
I know. I mean, I get that they are not required, but particularly when there is an agenda item and we are trying to involve them in problem solving, I feel like we as a board shouldn't be up in arms with the agency, but we as a board should be backing up our district manager if he's trying to do his job by managing the district and involving these agencies, and these agencies are not being responsive. I think it is up to us to enable, empower, and support him in calling them out for not being willing to work with him to solve problems that are under their purview.
I'll take Darryl, and then I'll wrap up.
Yeah, I know. I would just certainly agree with Liz. If an agency is not being responsive, then obviously they should be called out. But I would just add that there's, a simple, in the minutes, there's an attendance list of everyone that's there. So that's probably a tool that's already being used.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll work, I think particularly chairs in terms of supporting Ebenezer, as well as fielding to the board office any of these items. Yeah, Debbie.
I just want to point out that as far as I know, there are no minutes for the executive committee, just FYI. As has been established by those of us that are often eager to find out what happened with the agencies that our committees deal with.
Yeah, they recorded, I believe.
Yeah, but it would be helpful to have minutes from the cabinet meetings.
That's something we can.
So I guess what I'm saying is, we keep talking about making note of it, but they don't actually exist. Just saying.
So I'm saying that the recording is there, but I think as a matter of new business, and maybe not so much into general, but in the exec is about how can we problem solve to receive minutes and support the board office in that, and in ensuring that people who have to show up. And having that list along with the directory for us board members on who's who in terms of our elected reps. I think it's just some kind of like some green flags for tasks. Okay, so that wraps up new business. I mean, really it was announcement, but new business. Is there a
motion to adjourn?
Something else.
Catherine, I would really like to thank you for running an efficient, smooth meeting. And I would like to thank my fellow board members for, allowing a smooth board meeting to happen.
Thank you all. This is a collective effort.
There's a motion on the table. Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Second.
Great job, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
those in
Yes.
favor, click the leave button.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Madam Chair.